Welcome to the Masters in Motion podcast, where we empower Masters athletes to reach their full potential. Join us as we delve into the world of CrossFit and showcase the strength, resilience, and determination of Masters athletes because we love this sport. I'm Jason Grubb with Rick Stevenson. It is a Tuesday night prior to the Masters Fitness Championship this weekend, where we get to hang out together in person. I'm excited, Rick.
Absolutely. Me too. It's been a while.
Yep.
And we get to compete, step on the floor, stoke those competitive fires once again. You from an individual perspective and myself on the team side. I think we've got it covered.
Yeah.
We'll have plenty of information for to digest and punch out here because we'll have it all.
We'll have it
every
all.
Workout, you name it.
I'll tell you what, I've been getting things ready this week, like planning. You know, anytime I haven't taken a trip, even though my entire life is a trip. Like we've been on a trip for a couple of years now in an RV. Like getting on a plane and not having anything with me is chewing up some RAM in the back of my head. Like there's a spot occupied in my head this week of just what. And I'm excited to talk about our topic tonight because that's going to help me get organized for the trip this weekend. So that's going to be a lot of fun. The only thing I need, I've got the oil change in the truck. I got, the Tesla is charged. Everything is set up. My family's going to be fine while I'm gone. I just need a haircut. So thankfully, right now we are audio only podcast because this hair is super long, and the longer it gets, it's just pure gray. And I'm watching a video. You're on a video, you and I, right now. But I just got to get a haircut so that I look presentable out there.
Will that happen? Will you get that?
I don't know. Tomorrow's the only day. Okay. I need to find a barbershop in Savannah, Georgia that I trust. So we'll see. Worst case, I wear a hat. Sure. I mean, my hair's not, it is quite long, but I'm whatever. Yeah. Whatever. We do what we do.
This was Friday afternoon. Thursday afternoon. Thursday after work. Right there. Yeah, had to. Absolutely. Are you kidding? Because it was getting so long. And I noticed it when we had handstand push-ups the other day, and I got back up off the mat, and I'm like, what? It was just
that's not
salad
okay.
on top of it.
I agree. Yeah, I think I did that. The other day, I did some handstand push-ups. I did the Wodapalooza qualifier, and it was like basically doing Diane. And this was Saturday, and I finished training. I went to the bathroom to wash my hands, and I mean, I was the only person in the gym, but for 2 of those hours after Diane, I just had a big flop of hair smashed down on the front of my head, and I didn't even know it. So we can't have that. It's not okay. Not okay.
No. It's competition. Looking forward to it. We got to get you to Fort Wayne. Yep. You'll be flying. I'll be driving.
Yep.
Get there Thursday, and you have. We'll get checked in, and our team, Bros with Beards, kicks off at 8 a.m. on Friday. So that's the disadvantage of getting older in that you get all of the early time slots.
Yuck.
That's just the way it is. They say prime time for the younger.
I have a feeling, I'm actually not sure. My first event may not be until like 1 p.m. Depending on how my flight goes and all that, we'll call an audible on if I'm coming, because you're going to warm up at like 7. So I either come with you at 7.
Absolutely.
Or I take an Uber down to catch like your second event, and I just cheer you on like with my heart and my soul in bed. And we'll see.
Exactly.
We'll see how that unfolds on Friday.
I won't slam the door loud. Don't worry.
I believe you.
Now, in a nice twist, you and I think over the years have competed a number of times at competitions where they save the finale to be a surprise event. Like we will not brief you until the night before or a few hours before. In a twist, Masters Fitness Championship has saved one surprise workout for all of us, but it's the first workout for everybody. You start looking at the movements, trying to put the puzzle pieces together and figure out, okay, what am I missing? What are we going to do? Who are our sponsors? Like our equipment sponsors that are staring us in the face. But it's different because, yes, 8 a.m. Friday, I will step on the floor with Lon, and I have no idea what we're going to be doing.
Wow. That's fun. That's fun. That's going to give us a clue. I think what you're doing will give me a clue as to what I'm doing. And then we'll know. And if there's just a bunch of sandbags out there, we'll know what we're doing. We're doing something with sandbags. It's got to be something with sandbags. But
I think sandbags and running, but I don't know. I mean, it's a longer time on the schedule.
Okay.
I think it's like 27 or 29 minutes for us.
Oh, yes. I love it. Love it. I love that.
Because our gym is sending another team in the 40 to 49 age group. Yeah. And their heats are always going to be immediately after ours. And so there's a 29 minute window between. So it's
well,
start off. very early.
It's they do that. It's I love at competitions. I love and hate when the first event just destroys you and you're sore for the next 3 days because you just went so hard on that first event. And it feels like we've done that at the games every year. Every year, day one leaves you crippled for day 2, day 3, day 4. But I mean, no complaints. Let's do it. Let's jump in the deep end. I'm fine with it.
I've been waiting for this. This is good. I'm looking forward to it.
What do we got for news, Rick? Kicking that off for this week. Anything? Well, we've got some news. We've got some thoughts. But what comes to mind for you first?
You and I talked. I have hard news here, but before we get there, I do think we'll get just listening to Castro's Week in Review. I think we will get some information on the rest of our season sooner rather than later, and I wouldn't be surprised if it came out this week, just from what he alluded to. Like, stay tuned, it's coming.
Yeah.
Any thoughts for you? I'm glad they're not waiting till like January or something.
I agree with you. I think he doesn't tease anything unless it's about ready to be done. You know what I mean? Like, it's about ready to be released.
Right.
He did the same thing 2 weeks ago when he mentioned the game's moving to a new location, that they would announce it soon. And it was announced 2 days later. So that was a Monday. It was announced on a Wednesday, I think. So we think that there's a possibility, since he brought that up, he chooses the comments that he answers, and he chose to address a comment about Fort Worth and an age group and adaptive athletes. He said, based on our past, we have done events in that time frame with all of our athletes. So based on the dates, there's no information for you there, but I will have information released soon about all of that. He just he teased it, and he doesn't tease anything unless he's got it's about ready to get published to the world. So we'll watch tomorrow and we'll see. And it's kind of like, I don't know how many predictions of the end of the world come and go. And that this isn't an end of the world prediction, but it could be like, we could get through the day tomorrow and like you and I text each other, well, I guess it wasn't today. And it's, who knows?
We'll wait just because I keep getting messages sent to me like, hey,
me too.
Do you know what's happening?
Yeah.
And are these rumors true? And I'm like, I know nothing other than what I'm hearing. I mean, we truly don't. It would about October, I did hear on one of the other podcasts, I think it's pretty typical. October, November, they release like the rule book, maybe.
Sure.
They'll push that out.
Yep.
So then you get a kind of a framework for the context of how the next competitive year is going to lay out. And I think they owe that, before the rule book comes out, they owe the age groups, teams, and adaptive,
of course,
the respect of letting us know, because we'll either be in the rule book or we won't. I mean, plain and simple.
And
like every day.
That's very true. And maybe there'd be a unique rule book, or maybe there'd be a number of rule books. I was on
supplement appendix.
Yeah. I was on a podcast with, I was on the Talking Elite Fitness podcast last week, last Thursday. It was released on Friday. If you haven't had a chance to take a listen to it, Sean Woodland, Lauren, and I had a really great conversation about the rumors, what we've heard, what we think, how we'd like to see CrossFit go about it if we had our preference. It was a really productive episode, I think, in sharing just really the passion that we have for the sport of CrossFit as masters athletes. And again, they lots of the questions were like, if we were in charge, how would we manage that process? It was a really fun episode. And of course, after the episode concluded and the record button got stopped, we all shared exactly what we've heard and where we heard the exact, we got into the weeds and the details. But again, we don't want to be live on the air speculating before CrossFit has. It doesn't do anyone any good to say, hey, the Masters CrossFit Games are going to be in Canada, in December, or whatever. It's, if we don't know, and they're not, that's just completely made up. But it doesn't make sense to really throw anything, even as confirmed as we all think it is, out there until CrossFit just does it, because they move in some they what am I trying to say? They move in ways that we can't predict necessarily.
Very different ways.
So, very different ways. So we're not going to try to.
They zig when we.
Yeah.
They zig when we think they're going to zag.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I was doing all the hand motions, but I couldn't find the words.
We're going like this. No offense to our friends in Canada, but exactly. You brought that up. That wouldn't shock me if the elites go to the absolute hottest place you could go to in August to go to Fort Worth, and they'll send the Masters to Alberta in January or something like that.
Right.
Would you be surprised
I
with
mean,
anything that's gone on in
that
the
would
last
be
few years?
it'd be
No.
something. We would adapt. We would, go out there and have snowball throwing fights or whatever.
Yeah.
We'd ready for anything.
And Castro was it barbell spin maybe, and he said, look, I think 95% of the events for them will be inside that Dickies Arena because it's air conditioned, it's nice, and we know what the weather's going to be.
Yep.
A Castro news bite or a sound bite would be, Masters are going to have 95% of their events outside because, they're tougher, they're older. Yeah, embrace the elements.
Yeah,
so
that would be fun. Well,
let's just see what happens.
Yep. I'm in for the ride. Let's do it.
Yep. Other piece I did come across, and it was brought to my attention also. I know we know a number of folks that are competing, and this weekend, not only are we going to be thrown down in Fort Wayne at the Masters Fitness Championship, but age groups and some, that'll be Masters and Juniors will be up in Vancouver, Canada, at the IF3 Masters and Junior World Championships. And if you have paid attention to the development of this sport, I think over the last few years, it's a governing body that is trying to, I think, put some meat on the bones of perhaps introducing functional fitness as an Olympic sport. That might be their ultimate goal. This weekend in Vancouver, the Masters and the teenagers are going to compete, but there was competition for the elite athletes also earlier. So, in their words, they're a nonprofit international body for the competitive sport of functional fitness. And so there's six events, and the events are interestingly labeled. CrossFit will come up with some fancy names like Pulling Power and Endure the Coliseum or something like that. Theirs are by, I want to say the fitness domain. That might not be the right way to label it, but endurance, strength, body weight, skill, and then mixed and power. So these events are laid out for them, and you will be tested against your competitors from the world in these different events. And so I think the article I found, I could certainly have you put a link to it in the show notes.
I sure could,
if I can get on that. I think some of these tests look pretty interesting. Good luck to our American friends that are competing, because it's America against the world this weekend. Marianne in Columbus and Chris out in Washington, they'll be on the competition floor.
Wow.
And we'll see how this. They're making a push in this functional fitness space, and there's room for everybody as far as I'm concerned. Both sports in their infancies. The more the merrier. Yeah.
Did you say who is the male competitor? You said,
pardon me?
Who is the male competitor headed out there?
Oh. Chris Exaros.
Okay, cool.
He's in the 50 to 54 category up there, and
nice.
He's a multi-time games participant. And I think he'll probably text me after he hears this and correct me. I think this is his second time competing at IF3.
Okay.
I believe he's done it before. This is something that, in fact, I know he has, because it might have been in South America last time or something. It was a pretty good sized trip for him. So this is another time when the Masters events are being held out of the country, which is something, as we know, the CrossFit Games have not stepped into that yet.
Yep.
So good luck to them all.
The Wodapalooza qualifier for individuals wrapped up on Monday night. The scores were due, and the two workouts they released last Thursday were interesting. One of them was essentially the workout Diane, which is 45 deadlifts, 45 handstand push-ups. Diane is 21-15-9 of these movements. This workout was 45 and 45 in total, to be broken up however you would like. So it made it
interesting,
kind of an interesting workout. Yeah, very interesting. I was definitely torn because it's a week out.
How do you solve that?
Well, I'll tell you how I solved it. I think I played to my strengths. Meaning that I did a huge set of handstand push-ups to kick it off, and then went to the deadlift bar, moved that bar 15 times. And I ended up going back and forth between the two deadlifts and handstand push-ups, back and forth 3 times. So I did 30 handstand push-ups, 15 deadlifts, 9 handstand push-ups because I was getting tired. Like you don't really recover there.
Mm-hmm.
9 and then 15 and then 6 handstand push-ups and 15. But it was nice to chip off that really big set of handstand push-ups because 9 and 6 I was never overly fatigued on the handstand push-ups, and the deadlifts just 15, 15, 15 was very simple to do. What I saw actually online were some pretty insane scores, absolutely insane. So I'd like to see some of those videos. I think Hiller posted to Instagram a video of someone that did all of that in maybe a minute 39. And
so it does turn out to be faster than your Diane time.
I mean, it depends on what you consider a rep.
It is. Right,
yeah, what you consider a rep. So I think my Diane time is faster. I think when it comes down to it, 21:59 is a pretty good way to get through that. But there were guys in my division that there's a couple guys that were very, very fast. And I was moving at like 90% speed, not trying to kill myself because we've got a competition this weekend. But even still, it was a nice little workout, got the heart rate going. That was one of the workouts. The other workout was a, how long? 12-minute AMRAP? I think it was 12-minute AMRAP. And it was 100 double unders, 25 feet of walking lunges with the dumbbells at your side, standard weights, 50 pounds. Then 15 shoulder to overhead with those dumbbells, and then 15 front rack walking lunges with those dumbbells. So technically, you never had to set down the dumbbells. You could just lunge walk across, do 15 shoulder overheads, lunge walk back, and then hit the double unders. It was just a big double under workout. That's all it was. Yeah, like I dreaded getting back to the double unders because sets of 100 are just icky. Not icky, but like the first one, I think I did 100 unbroken. That's fine. And then I broke up the second set intentionally a little bit. The third set, I'm pretty sure I went 25s to just conserve energy a little bit. The fourth set, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I punched the gas. I can't remember. Maybe it was like I don't remember. I did 500 double unders through the whole thing, and it's just that's a lot of volume on these feet.
That's a lot of bouncing. Yeah,
a lot of bouncing. But shout out to RX Smart Gear. I know you switch teams, and I know you've been back and forth. I have finally.
Yep.
And again, I finally dialed in a shorter rope, and it took me so long to just redo this whole double under thing. And then at the Masters Fitness Championship, we're not even doing double unders; we're doing crossovers. But same principles: short rope, speed, short rope, move it fast, keep the arms in. Same principles. But I did both of the qualifiers for fun. But it is official that I'm not going to compete at Wodapalooza, even though I'm pretty sure I'll qualify. I'm in a qualifying spot. I'm sure my videos are okay. But, we've talked about this. I'm going to be a grandpa. And my oldest daughter is 25. She's in Colorado. We're going to spend a month out there through the holidays because she's going to give birth somewhere in that range. So we're going to go out there for a month so we can be out there. And that actually would intersect with Wodapalooza. And that would just be not a great experience, driving out, driving back, all this craziness. So that made it actually a lot easier. I was still debating on whether I was going to do it or not, but that was the nail that that sealed the coffin, whatever the phrase is.
Your metaphors tonight. I love it.
Really killing it here on the metaphors.
No, you know what? And that's a family. That's a life event.
Done.
There are no-brainer. Competitions down the road.
Yeah.
And it's not like you have never gone there or never gone there and won.
And I've told my kids that they cannot have babies around the games. Like, that's just that. Like, look, guys, there is a season when you can have babies or grandbabies, but and they don't care at all. So they're going to do whatever they want to do.
They're like, well, there's that crazy dad talking again.
As they should live their own lives.
Yep.
So, anyway,
we know that. So those qualifiers, I'll have to take a peek at the leaderboard.
Yeah.
And I got confused because there's just too many things I'm trying to keep track of. Team qualifiers for Wodapalooza occur in October. So
yes, I think so. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And I didn't mean to get that confused with individual qualifiers. So I hadn't been paying attention to that leaderboard. I'm more curious than anything.
Yeah, of course. It's fun to see the names on there.
It's the off season.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know people are working hard. So I just don't like the sound of that workout with all those double unders. While we're in the warm up area, still show me the rope. Let's work on something like that. How about that? I know since you'll be doing crossover, I know my rope is too long, and that's something that I need to fix. In fact, your Smart Gear gentleman, his name escapes me right now.
David
Newman.
David Newman.
David Newman.
Yep.
No, David Newman. He was he was a guest on the Masters Fitness Championship podcast this afternoon that I listened to.
Yep.
And he talked about what you would expect a company owner to discuss with the rope. So it makes me want to go out and make sure my rope is fitted correctly.
Yeah, I can help you with that.
Brand that I have.
I can help you with that. So he fitted me with my.
I'm sloppy with extra rope.
Yep. Yeah, you don't want extra. It's no good. You get that rope, even for crossovers. All the ropes that he's shared with me, they all have a purpose. They all work in a different way. But there is a sizing. It's a way that he sizes the rope that I've never done before, and it's just consistent. And then when you always work with a consistent length rope, whether it's crossovers or double enders or a heavy rope or whatever, you master the movement pattern, and then it just you only tweak your effort. You're not tweaking the overall movement because you get dialed in at that particular length. So he spent a couple of hours with me on a Zoom call to dial all that in, and I think we spent probably 15 minutes getting fitted just right, so that now I can fit all of my ropes exactly where they need to be on my chest. And he's a quality dude.
You don't want to see how long the drag rope not the drag rope. No, that's a whole nother animal. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. The rope I use for my crossovers, it is embarrassingly long.
I understand.
I think I can rodeo. It is
rope. For a long time.
It's that bad.
There's actually a GIF of a man doing a jump rope while on a horse, and I think your rope may actually qualify for that as well.
Correct.
It's still
right. I figured the more rope, the more my arms can cross over, and then the wider they can get.
That there is a logic to that. It's flawed, but it is logic.
It's flawed.
It still is logic.
Like most things that I do, they're flawed. Yeah. So, all right. So the qualifiers continue, and I'll tell you, not sure what my plans are yet, but I signed up today for the Fittest of the Coast qualifiers, which is an event that a gentleman from our gym, Mike, found last year down in Charleston, South Carolina. So it's a really nice venue. Beautiful town, and it is. There's enough people signing up in our gym to do the qualifiers, which actually start this Thursday. So I'm going to have to do something probably Tuesday when we get back when they do. So that's not what I'm looking forward to. But in the spirit of being a team player, I'm going to do this. I'm very curious to see how it all shakes out, and we'll see. I went and cheered them on last year, but maybe we'll compete. We'll see.
That's fine.
But it's in January.
Oh, cool.
For the Fittest of the Coast.
Yeah. Yep.
Looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to learning about even more comps. I've just being around you. You're connected to all these different competitions. It's really great to see all that's available out there because it doesn't always have to be just these giant monster national, international competitions. Competition is competition. Right. It's like when I used to play poker, I played poker for a living, and I had huge stakes on the table at one point. And even if I play like with my friends with a $10 buy-in, it's still such a fun experience.
It's competition.
It's competition. Yeah. We're built for this, and the adrenaline is the same.
We have talked in past episodes about the fine line of overdoing it.
Yes.
You're though at a level that I can say I'm not too worried about you overdoing too much, because I think a competition weekend can be argued that it might be less volume than a training weekend. Yeah. If you arrange it, 3 days of a competition could be less than 3 days of the middle of your training week. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
But there are tiered, I think post-pandemic now, if you look on some of these schedules that are out there on some of the sites, some of the websites have, calendars, there are competitions everywhere. And we've never even explored the ones that are outside of our borders here. Certainly there are levels of competency by organizers, programming, prize money, if that's, what you're driving towards. You start to kind of tier them in your own mind, knowing where you might be able to compete, what the benefits are, drawbacks, budget, distance. I mean, it's fun. And like in other sports, there's an age group for us. We're not living on borrowed time, like playing college football or something like that. You have a finite number of years. That's the first thing I could think of. Yep. There'll be an age group for you. It might start at 8 a.m. on a Friday morning, but
hey, that's okay.
I'll be competing. I'll be out there.
That's you sleeping in. You are done with training by 8 a.m.
Yes,
often.
Yes, so, you're right. By tomorrow, I will be done.
Well, Rick, we are. Let's shift gears into the meat and potatoes of our episode today. And we decided that we're going to kill a couple of birds with one stone, because I'm using all of the analogies now, or whatever.
You got that one.
I got that one. I nailed it. Nailed the birds with the stone. So I need to pack for a trip. I'm getting ready, like you, to compete in a big competition.
Yep.
And, I need to make sure I bring like toothpaste and my contact stuff. And I know to bring all that stuff, but I wanted to create a checklist, or you and I brainstorm a checklist of the things that we need to bring to a competition in our gym bag. And then maybe we expand out of that. And what I'm going to do with this information, I'm actually going to put this into a PDF and create a checklist out of it. And I'll make it available in the show notes below, or in some way. I'm going to make it available to our audience to download this checklist for any competition, whether it's Legends or MFC or the games next year, wherever the games are going to be at, or Beach Brawl, whatever the competition is that you have to travel to. It's nice to have this checklist. I was telling you, it's sort of like I go camping once a year, like backpacking. I go on a big trip once a year, and every year I go back to a checklist that I created years ago to remember all the things I need to take. You don't want to be out there like 6 miles into a backpacking trip and forget the water filter. Like the one thing you need to bring the water filter.
The purification tablets or whatever you need.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want to get to this competition and forget your grips. Like, I got to do 40 toes to bar. I forgot grips. So let's somehow create a list here, Rick, of the things that we need to be packing.
Okay.
What are the things that just come off the top of your head?
Well, I think we can maybe divide the list. Do you want to go this route, where there'll be everything you need for the competition, and then everything else?
I love it.
That could be related to your trip.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep.
Because some of that's going to be food. I mean, depending on if you're driving or flying, it could be food.
Yes.
We'll get there. Okay. So competition. Your competition bag. You've done many videos on this. I'm one that I don't carry everything with me. I think competition could happen in the middle of the street. And if you're driving to the gym, you could stop and do the competition.
Yes, I have everything.
Because you have everything in your bag.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what's in the bag? We've got grips, knee sleeves, all your ropes, multiple shoes. We're going to have our nanos or our functional shoes, plus lifters.
The question,
got to have room for lifters.
The question on this competition, excuse me, I don't know if I need lifters for this competition. I was trying to decide. I've got a lot of squats.
Asked me that today. I think I don't. What are you paired with your squats? Again?
So for me,
it's bar work though. It's toes to bar and chest to bar.
It's I've got gymnastics work and toes to bar, chest to bar, pull ups with a workout that has 50 back squats, 40 front squats, 30 overhead squats, and I could do all of those without lifters. I'm in a slightly better position with lifters, but can I afford lifters in my bag when I'm carrying everything with me?
Correct. Your space.
I'm just going to throw that out there that I don't think I'm bringing lifters just because of that limited space. Now, if we were doing a max snatch, a max clean, anything that gets me deep in the hole with a heavy weight, max back squat, max front squat, I'm going to bring those lifters.
Right.
But I think for me, to keep it light, I'm wearing the shoes I'm competing in. I think I'm going to throw that out there. I think I'm going to do that because I got to get on a plane.
Okay.
And if I'm wearing those shoes.
You wouldn't wear your lifters on the plane, would you?
No, it would not.
That would be something.
No. It'd be like a bowler.
Depending on the competition.
Yeah, of course.
No one would even notice, believe me. Have you seen what people wear on planes nowadays?
It is offensive. I'm going to wear a mask only because I'm more of like a hypochondriac now. I have been sick like twice in the last 40 days. I am not getting sick. I have a package of N95 masks, and I'm just going to wear one on the plane because I just don't want to get sick again, and I never travel. So anyway, I'm going to be that guy.
Right.
So
and
forgive me.
People are forgetting personal space and everything else now. I don't think anybody. That's probably the problem.
Anyway, we got grips, knee sleeves, ropes, shoes.
Yep. Competition's going to drive your shoe decision. Tape.
Thumb tape.
Gum tape. Sweatbands for those that love headbands and things like that.
Yep. I have to have wristbands. I sweat so much.
Wristbands.
Yep. Wristbands. I was thinking.
Yep. Headbands. Obviously, your shirts and shorts.
How about this? How about swim trunks?
Yes.
Goggles.
Doesn't take long to pack up. Swim trunk and goggles.
Flip
Yeah, that's the
flops.
bare minimum that you'll need for swim. For
swimming.
those that are swimming.
Yep.
Individual athletes, hint, hint.
That's right. You're not swimming. That's right. We're okay. That's
I'm
right.
not swimming.
Yep. Okay. Is that the gym bag? Warm up gear. Do we need? I normally have crossover symmetry stuff
bands
in my bag, but that's not coming. I'll bring bands. Maybe one band for stretching. A green band. I love having a green band.
A roller.
Boy, I'd love that. Will you pack one of those?
Well,
you're driving.
I will pack one. In fact, I'm going right over to the closet right now and I'm pulling it out.
I know. I was literally looking for my bag on the floor here. It's not here. Yep.
Because here it is. I've got it and it's going right there.
You know what's funny, Rick? I'm going to take a side note here. I've been a little bit achy the last week. Like my legs have just been achy. Like my hips are a little bit achy. It's just been really funny. And so today at the gym, I finished training and it was a pretty light day. It's a deload week. It's a light day. And I just spent 15 minutes rolling out. And it occurred to me that for some reason, I haven't packed my foam roller with me in my bag for training. So I haven't rolled out in a good couple of weeks, probably 2 or 3 weeks. What am I doing? What was I thinking? Good deep tissue rolling out. Like immediately I felt it. If you feel that deep ache, like just kind of melt away as you're doing the foam rolling, if you haven't done it in a little while. And I stood up and I walked out of the gym. I was like, I'm cured. What was I doing? So I'm very grateful. You will have a foam roller. Okay?
Yep. Foam roller. Yeah. We said, lacrosse ball. I'll have one.
Yep.
I always have one in my bag.
Good.
Especially for myself and my cranky shoulder.
Yeah.
I will lean into a wall in the front of the shoulder. I'll put the ball in the back of my shoulder and, go through some range of motion there.
Really simple. Really simple.
Trying to think. Yeah.
As far as
lifting, wrist straps. I live and die by wrist straps.
Fair enough.
Not sweatbands, but wrist straps for support.
Yep.
That's an old man thing. Oh, and your belt. Can't forget your belt.
Yes. Now I'm trying to think, do I need a belt? And when did I use a belt? Oh, absolutely. I need a belt. Yeah. Good. Those deadlifts, squats, honestly, the power clean burpee box jump over, that gets a little bit, that's heavy enough to wear a lifting belt. Good call on the lifting belt.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Anything else on the event side of things?
Need that, but
mine is great.
On the event side, we're going to keep, like a nutrition bag as a separate packing list. How about that?
Let's do that. List. I was thinking,
let's do that.
Yeah, let's do recovery really quick. So as far as recovery goes,
okay,
I am considering bringing my Normatec compression pants. I really, really enjoy them as a recovery tool. You've got the foam roller. I don't think there's really anything else. I can get a cold shower in the mornings if I need to, and maybe the hotel has a hot tub. I'm not super concerned about that. A good night's sleep, if I could pack that, a good 8 hours sleep, just put that on the packing list. Yeah, that's going to be the best for recovery right there. Nutrition, or
lots of shaker bottles, how many ever you can carry. I mean, that's going to depend on how you're traveling. I will have multiple ones. I'll be washing them out frequently.
Definitely.
And with that comes your things of choice. What do you use? Do you use protein immediately after? Do you use salts like Element? I mean, do you have pre-workout? Some people swear by pre-workout. Just Gatorade, water. Got it down. You're going to need a lot of shaker bottles, and then your whatever it is of choice that you're going to mix.
Yeah,
that's a whole separate Ziploc bag.
One of the ways that I try to minimize shaker bottles but maximize water is I'll have like 2 shaker bottles, one for Element or Gatorade, and I'll use both of those. I'll have another shaker bottle that's just protein, because it's just such a different washing that needs to take place. And I'll buy a gallon or 2 gallons of water, or the biggest water I can get from the store. Good old fashioned like mineral water or whatever. And I'll bring that with me, and I'll just mix my shakes. I'll mix whatever I need while I'm there. And we may even take a couple trips to the store mid competition, just depending on what we end up running out of. But yeah, and that's the nutrition just from the supplement standpoint. As far as meals, during the game day, I think you said you're going to bring an extra cooler or like soft cooler or something like that, which is awesome. Yep. I'll have yogurt in there. I'll have as much fruit as I can fit in there. Banana,
ice packs.
Ice packs, obviously. Yep.
Yeah, I can do ice packs. Yep. Let's start with ice packs.
And there is going to be a meal provider out there actually, they reached out to me, which is really great.
Right.
There's a company that's going to have lunches if we need lunches while we're there, which is pretty cool. I don't eat that much when I'm out there, but if there's enough gap between two events, I'll eat a meal. I really like to actually eat a meal, but if I could just get fruit, sugars in the form of fruit, or simple starches like rice, that's fine for me. And yogurt is just a go-to for me out there during the day. But those we'll buy there. As far as like clothing packing list, shirts, shorts, underwear, socks.
Yeah.
As many as necessary. Yeah. As much as will fit in my bag.
Absolutely.
I have my shirts literally stacked on my desk.
It's interesting. Some competitions ask you to wear the gear that you're given.
Yep.
Some don't care, so it's a choice. And some you don't get any gear, so you bring your own. I mean, there's always something to consider. Like, obviously, when you're at the games, you're required to wear anything and everything Noble, and nothing of any brand other than that can show.
Right.
Some of these other competitions, I remember at Legends, we were asked to wear the clothing that was provided by Reebok. It was encouraged as long as it had a Reebok logo.
Yep.
Here, I think you'll get a shirt or two, but I don't know if they're going to say you have to wear it. So it's just something to consider. If you're space constrained, there's no sense overpacking if you know you're going to get stuff that you're going to have to wear.
Right. Yeah, I got to whatever I take, I got to bring home. So if I get more stuff there,
correct,
we got to bring it home. This is a good list. I did add to my nutrition list creatine, beta-alanine. Those are a couple of supplements that I do use. I'll bring grinds, which I use for a little bit of caffeine. Not much. I'll just do a little caffeine out there before each event. But that's a good list.
The creatine and beta-alanine, I actually just mark them in small plastic bags because even driving, I don't want to carry my big tubs.
Oh, yeah.
I just think it's a hassle.
Yep.
So I'll just kind of scoop out what I think I'm going to need, measure it, bring my little scooper. It's in a plastic bag, and I'm good to go.
Simple enough. And I'll do the same thing when I travel. I'll be traveling through the airport with these little Ziploc bags full of white powder, just multiple bags of white powder.
Right.
I'm not suspicious at all.
Just like we've said with drug tests, test away, my friend.
Go ahead.
Please don't confiscate, but test away. There's nothing wrong with it.
If there is a beagle that gets sniffy with me at the airport, it's great because I love beagles and they can sniff all day.
Yeah. It's because the pre-workout's got the beagle.
He's all excited,
all jacked up.
All right, so
exactly.
To review the competition bag, in our bag we've got grips, we've got knee sleeves, ropes, the jump rope that we need. We've got shoes, thumb tape, wristbands, and that's wristbands versus wrist wraps. So wrist wraps as well, if necessary. Swim trunks and goggles, flip-flops, which it sounds silly, but I want swim trunks, goggles, and flip-flops at a pool. We've got a band for stretching, for mobility, foam roller. We've got the lifting belt. Good call on that. That was not on an original list for me. For recovery, you had a lacrosse ball. That's also part of the bag as well. But the lacrosse ball, foam rolling is also part of recovery, even though that's in the bag too. Compression. Any kind of compression is great. That's an optional recovery tool for me. If it fits, great. If not, it's big. That's a lot to carry, and I doubt it's coming with me.
It's a separate small suitcase.
It is. And I'm not checking a bag. I got to catch a connecting flight. Everything is on me that I'm taking.
Correct.
We've got shaker bottles, protein.
Yep.
We've got our salt. For me, element. For anyone else, it's our electrolytes, maybe even our Gatorade, creatine, beta-alanine. As far as our supplements go, we've got the grocery shopping list, which is completely separate. Everyone can buy their own groceries. We won't go over that. But as far as clothes go, we got shirts, shorts,
what works.
Socks, underwear. I know that you and I aren't thinking sports bras, but those are probably something necessary for half of the demographic that shows up out there.
Yep.
And what are we missing? Gosh, I wish this was a live show. Maybe a sweatshirt. Sometimes these places can be chilly.
Sweatshirt and athletic pants.
Yes.
I think we're going to have good weather this weekend, but we've all been to, for example, Legends last year. Whoever remembers how much rain they had.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
It's cold.
Yep.
Dress for the elements.
Yep.
Which 75 and sunny is not going to be that difficult, but
it's
it could be. You're right. Very chilly inside. Doesn't hurt with the sweatshirt.
And if you're getting to the venue at 7 a.m., you're not it's not hot at 7 a.m. Anymore. So we are in the fall time. So planning for that is nice. And being inside, I also like to be comfortable. I don't want to be cold when I'm, relaxing, chilling out between events.
Especially post-workout. Yep. I will now, because I'm driving, I'll probably bring a chair or two.
Nice.
Collapsible camping chair. Again, each situation is different. There's no way you're hoofing it through your airports with the
chair.
Oh, do these fit in the overhead compartments? Yeah, no.
I know.
Yeah, it'd be no different than a stroller. You have to gate check that.
I feel so hamstrung. Now, okay, here's one that I'm going to throw in my bag. For me, camera gear. I know that sounds silly, but some of us, like a lot of people need to bring either their phones or camera gear or something like that. They might document it in some sort of way. So camera gear and batteries is part of my bag, and probably part of quite a few people's bags. Everything else, like the iPhone, AirPods, all that kind of stuff, I've got a whole system on where that goes in a backpack that's pretty standard. So that always travels with me.
Charging cords, extra battery, just in case.
Yep.
Especially if you're at the venue all day.
Oh yeah.
My phone loses battery power quite easily. Yes. I like to keep it fully charged.
I am with you on that. I've got the extra battery pack in the back. I already have that in my backpack. It lives in my backpack because you just never know where you are. It's never your phone never runs out of battery in a convenient spot. So
correct.
So when you're out and about, well, that sounds like a good list, Rick. Is there anything else?
I think it's pretty complete. I'll tell you what. If anybody has any other ideas that we're missing something that's just flashing
let us
in
know.
front of us and we can't see it, please leave a comment. Let us know.
Yeah. What are we forgetting?
Send us a message, and it'll be something plainly obvious that we'll go,
oh, that's right. Yeah, you're going to want to have that.
How did I not?
Yeah. I forgot a barbell.
But I think we're covered.
Yeah,
it's exercising for time.
Yes.
I think we have everything covered. And being veterans of competitions, we know how to fuel ourselves. Yeah. We know how to recover. And as long as the programming cooperates and doesn't leave you hobbled and broken, we'll emerge Sunday with a very good experience. So
absolutely.
I hope if people are traveling there, they're competing, they're coming to watch, come and say hi.
Yes, please
find us and say hello, and let's catch up.
Yeah, we are absolutely we're not too busy at this competition to say hi, to shake hands, to grab pictures, selfies, and just get to know everybody. That's
it's the community.
It is. It's so fun. It's so much fun. It's half of the activity out there is actually just hanging out with other people. It is the best part. So, Rick, do you have, and were you prepared? We didn't talk about this beforehand, but do you have a tip of the week? I was hoping you would go first.
I'll go first. It's only because I think this leads up to, and I talked about the checklist last time, but this is, what are we, 72 hours out? This is now all about mindset. Just have the right mindset going into it. Have your plan. For you, as an individual, you're probably going to have a different plan of attack than I will with a partner. And we all know best laid plans are often go awry. Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face, Mike Tyson comment. So have an idea of how you're going to attack each workout. Clear your mind. And focus on only what's in front of you and let everything else take care of itself after you hear time called. So I'm going to go in with the right mindset. We're going to attack each individual workout. We're going to have some fun out there. That's the whole point that I'm doing this with Lon, and try and put our best foot forward. See where it stacks up on Sunday.
That's great. I think I'm going to take that same tact as far as a tip for the week and add pre-visualization to that. And one of the reasons I like to visualize my way through each workout, and I may do this on the plane because it's just a good time for me to have my eyes closed and do that. I oftentimes will do this as I'm falling asleep, which is a terrible time because it keeps me awake a little bit. So I don't really want to do that. But I do like to visualize my way through the events of the next day, either the night before, the morning of, and literally think almost with a stopwatch in front of me about exactly what's happening as I'm working my way through a workout in my head. How am I going to chalk up for those back squats, or after those back squats and I get to the toes to bar? Where's the chalk going to be? How much breaths am I going to take from this transition to this transition? What do I expect, or how do I expect to break up these toes to bar and then get back to these shoulder to overhead? Like literally coaching myself through the workouts visually in my head, or visualizing in my head. And Also kind of mapping out what that'll look like and feel like on the floor. And when I do that just a couple of times prior to the actual event, I feel like when I'm out there on the floor, I've done this workout multiple times without burning out my CNS, without killing myself. I've done this workout, so it just becomes automatic movements. I'm just following the script while I'm out there. And yeah, sometimes I'm out there and you get punched in the face because you're like, well, I didn't expect it to feel like that. Well, yeah, that happens. And that's okay. It's okay to call audibles and to change your plans in the middle of the workout. But I really have done this for so many times in so many big events. Visualization is something that's been proven to improve performance. It'll create a smoother experience for you out there. And again, you can sometimes even visualize like, well, if it doesn't work like this, what happens? Like, what happens if I get water in my goggles? How will I handle that? So think through that scenario. I will stop at the wall, open up my goggles, squish them back on my face, and get right back into it. Just work through some of the alternative scenarios. That's not a terrible thing either. I don't think you're jinxing yourself by working through some of the, well, what if this happens scenarios.
Not at all.
So you're just there. You get your brain already having worked out these kinks, then get in there and then do the work and smile. Like when you're actually out there on the competition floor, you're looking around, you're like, I am doing this competition with all these guys out here again. A little smile can crack on your face because it's kind of a good time. So great tips, Rick.
Absolutely.
I think
we're very fortunate to be doing what we're doing. Yep.
That's another episode. So much fun. We could do this probably 3 days a week. Thankfully, we just do it one time a week. Our families would kill us if we did it more than this. But
yeah, exactly.
Man, I'll see you in just a couple of days. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in to the Masters in Motion podcast. If you found this episode helpful, we'd be so grateful if you would take a moment to leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or your preferred podcast app. Your support helps us reach more listeners and grow our Masters community. Until next time, get bolder, not older. See ya.